Well, probably I would begin with this. You know that it happened that the image of your country, of your history, of your culture, of your literature even, it came as a myth to the people of our generation, even much before. Because, well, when we were boys, our heroes were Jan Žižka, Prokop Goly. Well, our favorite book was Brave Soldier Schweik. Well, then it was Čapek, then the poets and all the others. Also, we knew that after the First World War and the Versailles Agreement, Czechoslovakia was the only really democratic country in Eastern Europe. And this tradition was very deep in the spirit of your history. And when during the Prague Spring, it was a great hope that Czechoslovakia would be the center of the liberation from the totalitarian regime. Therefore, there was such a reaction after the 21st of August. And not only my comrades and me who went to the Red Square, a number of other people protested individually. Unfortunately, it was forgotten. But our action was simply known because it was at the center of the country occupant, just in the sacred place where there was a Kremlin, where there were the public executions, you know, for many centuries. What also immediately after your first president of free Czechoslovakia was a dissident himself. So he was our brother for struggle. And then it was a very big hope of the Czechoslovakia, or after the Czech Republic, would be the center of the foundation of the new area, democratic area in the Soviet, in the Eastern Europe and the Soviet Union at the time. Okay. Your former president wrote, several years ago, that at the situation now, with a very dangerous situation, the small countries, democratic countries, or with the democratic traditions, should unite against the pretensions of the big powers who could betray them for their own interests. Well, he was the only chief of the government of the country, the president of the country, who during the first war in Chechnya said that it was a genocide. I quoted his phrase that it was a war which had the character of genocide. And when I came to your country years ago, at our time, I was a little bit disappointed because, you know, what was absolutely free after the violent revolution, when the press was absolutely free, when the people were full of enthusiasm, probably euphoria, yes? And now that it is not like this. During several years ago, when we were invited here, the survivors of this small demonstration, yeah? And a journalist, I wouldn't tell you the name, who interviewed me so many times on the television when we were first time here. She said, I can't do anything, Viktor, now. And we could publish only about this demonstration, nothing more, absolutely. So it was like a museum of the deep past, you know. And for me, you know, that it is difficult to understand in the West and in your country for the public, even among the intelligentsia, the character of the of the regime in the Soviet Union. You know, when Bukovsky, who spent 12 years in prison in different institutions of the Gulag, when he was exchanged for Luis Carvalhan, the head of the Communist Party of Chile, and at the first press conference here in the West, he was asked, how many other political prisoners in the Soviet Union? He answered, 250 million. Now the situation changed radically. It is not a totalitarian regime anymore. It is an authoritarian regime, which has the other means of the pressure on the population. Other means. Bukovsky said once, why after the death of Stalin, the Soviet Union was condemned to the end, even through several, after well, many years, but it was condemned because the practice of, I would say, отстрел, I don't know how to say in English. You know, отстрел, it is when the hunters are allowed to kill some the animals, the wicked animals, only some percentage. Well, and in Stalin's time, there was отстрел. The people were simply eliminated by groups, by individuals, and so on. In Khrushchev's time, it was finished. It was a great gulag, was still existed for any resistance. Yes, yes. Now, there is no great gulag, but there is отстрел. The people are not imprisoned; they are murdered. They are murdered just selectively. They are murdered in Russia. They are murdered certainly in Chechnya, but they are murdered abroad. Litvinenko was murdered in England, and the man who did it, it is a hero of Russia. It is a deputy of Duma, and so on. Israilov, a Chechen refugee, was murdered in Austria. Your country is in danger, and many people don't understand it. I listened to the speech of Medvedev several days ago. He spoke about your country also, if you notice it. He said that if the rockets, anti-rockets, would be placed in Eastern Europe, in Poland and the Czech Republic, we would have to produce the new weapons, very modern. And if not we, the people who would be after us, and they should understand it. So it means that Poland, Czech Republic, and so on should be under the constant threat, or either they could choose the fate of the Ukraine, of the Belarus, of the Kazakhstan, and so on. Well, and so that it is a question of, and therefore, for me, this situation with the Chechen people who are imprisoned here, it is one of the examples of the penetration of the result of the pressure from your great, now not the senior brother as it was, but great neighbor. And Chechnya now, it is a small country, but it is a mirror of this regime. The genocide of the Chechen people was the only genocide that was almost not noticed in the end of the 20th century and the beginning of ours. You know, I was in Chechnya during the First War, and I saw that was there. But then, after that these people was physically eliminated second time for less than 100 years, you know, but because the first time it was in Stalin's time, 1944. Second time, not physically, but now it is endeavor to eliminate them spiritually, that is even worse, you know. They arranged the Chechenization of the Chechen conflict. That idea that they put their howlighters, their pattern, they put just at the head of this heroic republic who resisted, who pushed back the enormous Russian army during the First War. I was, during this war, I was there. I had never seen, I could tell you, the more dangerous, the more generous people. They had no, absolutely, you know, even with this very cruel enemy, they had a pity for Russian soldiers, you know, who were hungry and so on. They hated only those who were on the contract for money, you know, and they gave back prisoners. Themselves, at that moment, they never surrendered, you know. They changed sometimes Russian prisoners, elite of the marine, well, морская пехота. They changed for women and children that they were hostages, you know. And now it changed radically. It changed radically after such a massacre. And afterwards, the dozens of thousands of people had to flee from this country. It had a very strong influence of the situation, of the moral situation of this country. There was a pressure from two sides. The one side, it is Russia of Putin, Medvedev, and so on. The other side, it was when the West left them alone, absolutely, abandoned them. They had no other option as the Muslim Arab world, you know, which is ruled 100% by the dictators, by the fascist or clerical regimes, you know, and these countries, many of them are actually the common interest with the Russia. When I was in Chechnya during the First War, that many fundamentalist literature was sent from Moscow to Chechnya, which was still fighting, you know. Well, and the tradition of the Chechen people, their form of Islam, very mild, which has nothing to do with the fundamentalists, you know, the Sufism, the Brotherhood, and so on. They were ignored. They were changed for Wahhabit, you know. Well, and now that I just but well, I was talking to you about Russia. Now I would tell about the Western country, about the old Europe, you know, old Europe and new Europe, which is called that just you, Poland, and all these countries, you know. It's already the President Chirac said that your countries, Republic of Czech and Poland and the others, they lose the time to shut up. You know, when I was at the meeting several days ago, a mayor of a district of Paris who organized this meeting, this was one of the anti-Semitic organizations of France, that now has 50. He said that Eastern Europe is unfortunately doesn't understand that the danger of Israel, so of the Jews. Israel is the euphemism for Jews now. That, you know, well, it is the difference, and I was with the human rights activists. Imran, where is Hana, in 3 prisons in Slovakia. now you have your own prisoners, Chechen refugees. And for me, it is a great shock. It is a mutation. I would understand this mutation in the Western Europe, in the old Europe. But you, who experience your occupation, who experience all the horrors of occupation of the war, and were occupied by the same power. Well, it is a pity that you also began to lose a sense of history. When now that I would finish with what about the prisoners you were told, about the situation in Chechnya also. Now that this Chechen, now the Republic of Chechnya, so-called Republic, it has a special regime. It is not even the regime in Russia. They put the highlighters to Kadyrov and his gang, who can do anything, absolutely. There are no laws. Kadyrov, for instance, he is for многоженство, как это?
Polygamy.
Polygamy. Yes, it is allowed there. Polygamy. He's well, everything. Now you got all, even the extremist forms of Islam there. But you could kill, you could take your hostages, but and so by the hands of his highlighters, he keeps better the rest, what is rest of the Chechnya, you know. Not only, these people are used as murderers. Most of the murders who were made not only in Chechnya, but in Russia and even abroad by the government of Great Russia, were made by the hands of Chechens, of people of Kadyrov or like, you know. So it is a second genocide of the Chechen people. First, it was a physical genocide, and now it is a spiritual genocide. And well, I am sorry that I spoke so long, but to finish it, I would tell that it is very important that you would understand it. What Svetlana Gannushkina said, that she was proud that she is between two people, so heroes. We were not heroes.
I don't say it.
No,
I don't like heroes.
But I think that these people, like she, and like Imran, well, and you know, and they are really heroes because they are connected with this regime, and they have to fight against this evil of this regime. And the regime is, they are exploiting the situation when there is no totalitarian regime. And for them, the life of every human being is sacred. And their only satisfaction when they manage to get out from prison on safe from murder. Well, but for that, they have to be part of this regime who use it. We have a democracy. We don't And for me, these people are heroes. I wouldn't be able to do this, you know. Well, their life, it is a torture, really. Well, I was with them in these prisons in Slovakia, and so I saw how they live. I think that also that these people, they are the future of Russia, because there are two Russias. One Russia is of Putin and Medvedev, and the other Russia, it is these people, you know. Now the situation is changed, but it's changed. Something is going up inside this empire. Something going up, something changed, you know. And even some journalists in Russia, they say there is one could feel the February of 1917, how one journalist said, you know. And for the government, yes, you know, that they are the future Russia. And this future is not very far. I assure you, not very far. When you should be orientated for this Russia. For this Russia, they ask you to help their own country, not only Chechen, their own people. Well, and this phlegmatism of the civil society now in the West, it is very sad. When I would show you two medals now. Once, 2 years ago, I think, the survivors of our demonstration were given in Moscow the medals, the medal which is called "Спешите делать добро," hurry to make good. Yes, it was a lozung of Dr. Gaz, who was a German doctor in St. Petersburg long before the revolution. He was a humanist, and the memory of many people of St. Petersburg still keep it in their heads. Well, so that among these people, some people helped, I don't know one, there was a Lukin, who is an ombudsman, who is uполномоченный mandate for human rights attached to the government, and he was chosen under the recommendation of Putin and Medvedev, okay? And my friends who received this medal, they put the medal for me, and then and then gave me here in Paris, you know. And for me, it was the most horrible insult that I received from this regime, you know. The most horrible, because it looked as this government, through ombudsman, gave me their medal. It was several months after there was an attempt on my life by their agent, who was a double agent, also of France. And he is protected. He is distributing the propaganda on the French, in French and in Russian, in his blog. Nobody would touch him because he's double agent, you know, and he writes that the human rights movement in Russia, it is a Jewish complot, you know. Well, it is directed by the Jewish world, like the lesage of film, you know. It is allowed. It is allowed. And after this, this man was, он был оправдан французским судом. He was waiting for me when I was giving an interview to the director of Japanese television about Chechnya, together with the former president of the Chechen parliament, Akhyade Yigov. Well, he was waiting for me after the interview, which was in a cafe. When I left out, well, he waited for me with a hammer here, well, and delivered me a blow just on the temple. That he was the widow of Andrei Dmitrich Sakharov, Lucia Bonner, wrote a letter to the court. Leonid Plющ, the famous dissident of Ukraine, who lives also in Prague, wrote a letter. A number of British writers wrote a letter who were members of my organization when I was in England. You know, no letter was read there. There was not investigation. He was оправдан, я забыл какой. He was
признан невиновным.
And the sentence was without appellation, you know. And after that, I decided to send this medal back with my letter to Mr. Lukin. And the other medal, we were invited by the president, Klaus, you know, about some the survivors of our demonstration, yes? And we were given this medal, okay. It was very nice. We were invited by the president, Klaus, but we were met by Mr. Topolanek, the prime minister, who was very just with open heart, and there were several ministers and so on. But this medal was not accompanied with any paper. So it was anonymous. Well, and the president even didn't speak with that. And what I would like to write a letter to your president and ask him that he would intervene in the fate of this, especially of Ali Asayev. Well, I wouldn't give it back because the president was elected by Czech people, you know. But if he wouldn't react, I would have to send him back this medal because we came that time for his invitation, and I think that it is a prerogative of the president, to give medals.